Okay, I'm recording. Okay, this is Christina Stacia at ChristinaStacia918.com. This is recording 777, listen next, 777. So, I want to start out this recording. I'm going to talk about something that happened yesterday morning. I'm so happy. I can only imagine what's going on. And then I've got a couple of crimes to report that Gene Robertson or Manson occult committed. And then I'm going to go over some more decode with you to show more of crimes that Gene Robertson or Manson occult have committed in the past. So, okay. So yesterday morning, so as you guys know, I first opened cases against Gene Roberts 4 years ago. I knew that she was guilty for committing massive terrorism, and she's getting ready to commit massive terrorism, and like this whole like terror plot, like all of it. And then also she's running a hostage racket. I couldn't get anywhere because she hacked me. And it took me a minute, but then like a few years later, I was able to make more reports to the FBI. I waited for them to contact me back, but someone said she poses as an FBI agent. She hacks literally everything. But anyway, someone said she got into their systems and closed my report out. That she didn't delete it, that it was in there, but she just closed it out. So, anyway, so I didn't hear from the FBI. So I tried calling them like 2 or 3 more times, and then I never got anywhere. I was aggravated. She's running her trafficking ring. She's committing terrorism left and right. I'm like, this is insane. So anyway, I finally go and press charges in person, against her at Tulsa Police Headquarters, 600 Civic Center, Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I open a case against her. I take a bunch of evidence, like 2 full bags of evidence, like 2 full bags of full decoded notebooks. And some of them were small and some of them were the real big notebooks, like 300 pages. So I took them in, and then I pressed charges against her, and I was assigned a detective. And then the very next day, and I got to talk to law enforcement, explaining briefly what was going on. I was explaining that she is the leader of an occult. I knew once they got into her books, they're going to see everything. But I said she's the leader of an occult. I probably did tell him Charles Manson at the time. I can't remember. It's like so much to say at one time. People are like overwhelmed because she's just committed that much crime. But anyway, I let them know that she is running a racket in Tulsa, that she's breaking into homes, that she is spreading lies for money, and she's committing terrorism with the money. And I keep watching her commit these crimes, and I keep solving these crimes that she's committing, and that they really need to take action. I need to speak to somebody immediately. And I was crying, and I was like, or somebody could die. I mean, somebody could die. So I was like freaking there, like, I understand. And they were trying to calm me down and then give me the next steps and what to do. And then, the very next day, Gene Robertson or Manson occult shot Donald Trump. And I knew she was going to shoot him when I lived in Oklahoma City because I decoded it. I decoded a whole bunch of assassination plots. I freaking knew she was going to do that. And then after she shot him, I decoded it. Sure enough, she shot Donald Trump. So anyway, not getting through anyhow, because she turned around and threatened the police. She wants to break down the government. She wants to run this wants to run this racket. And she just wants to get away with crime. And so she literally like threatens the police. So anyway, and I can hear her in my brain, like threatening the police. And then she committed a terror attack in Texas on a base, making a threat at Tulsa police headquarters. And I decoded that. So I'm like, okay, that's when I'm like, I got my Pinterest. I'm like, I can't take this. I can't rest with this because she's still committing crimes. So until I hear from my detective, I'm going to keep decoding crimes that she's committing until I'm put in witness protection and she and her occulta are arrested. And I'll just let them know, hey, here's all my decode. Here's everything. So I opened up Pinterest and I put decode on my Pinterest, which turned out to be, thank God for servers out there. When you upload stuff on the internet, the smartest thing in the world, if you have something precious that you don't want lost, is to get it uploaded because it's always sitting on someone else's server. So she hacked my Pinterest. I still have it. I still have a lot of decode on it, but she hacks it thinking she's cute. She's just so cute. She can just do what she wants. And she went and like spread lies and tried to rip some of it off and then tried to impersonate me and act like she was me and act like she was speaking for me. And then she like tried to take my life and try to hide it from people and tried to divide it out into like many different people so she could like make money off of it. She's like all these antics going on. It's all criminal. So anyway, but I made sure Tulsa Police Headquarters had my Pinterest. So then I got my podcast up and going because it's too hard to write stuff down. And then I was telling Mental Telepathy, the best thing you could do is do a podcast because she steals from you when it's typed. She steals from you. So if it's podcast, you can't go wrong with that because what can she do? Clip stitch, then we know it's her. What else can she do? Steal what you're saying and change the voices and pretend like it's someone else. She can't get away with that. We know that it's you, Christina. Like, I know that people know that it's me. So she's not getting away with any of that. So, and I'm like, more lives are saved if I'm making, which is my whole point. If I do nothing and she gets away with committing the crime, then she thinks she's getting away with it, and then she commits more crime. If I make reports and people know I'm making reports, and guess what? Less people die. So I make reports until she's arrested. Less crime and less people die if I make reports, because the more people that know that I am onto Gene Jernigan Robertson or Manson occult, and the more that people know, I show people, this is how I'm making reports to the CIA, but regular people get on my podcast too. Like, this is how you decode crimes. If you want to look at cold cases, these are like, as I figure stuff out, like how to decode site, like any of that. Like, I put it on, like, this is how you figure this out. So the more people that are aware and know how to decode crimes that she commits, the more lives are saved. I can't stop her from committing crime. I know she's running a hostage racket. I know she's got people under threat, but I can save lives by continually making reports until she's arrested. So anyway, yesterday morning, and then I've got CIA cases open against her, and I've made my way through to Washington, like you're going to see on my previous podcast, so anyway. So yesterday morning on my way to work, it never happens because this is what happens. I'm like, I put my website on the back window of my car, right? So, and you can see it, like you can go to, because I'm making sure people know my website. People know this is me. It's my car. It's my website. I'm trying to turn in Gene. You need to know that Gene is a terrorist and trafficker. But you can go to YouTube, my YouTube, Christina Station 918, and click on what is that tab? The tab where you can add posts and stuff. And I've got a couple of pictures that I made on Canva on there, and you can see a picture of the back of my car in there. So anyway, so I'm like, every time I try to if I see law enforcement, if I see a cop car, and it's been this way since I've had my website up, if I see, and I've got an open case. I know they're under threat, but the more cops that know, the better, right? Because who knows what, right? So anyway, I'm like, if I see a cop, I'm going to get in front of them so they can see my website. So it's been like 3 or 4 times I've come across like law enforcement, like driving back and forth to work, and I can't get like in front of them. She is using eyes to control the people driving the vehicles. And so she makes people in front of me, like if they're in my opposing lane, she'll make the car in front of me like drive extra slow so I can't get up ahead to get in front of the cop. Or she'll ice rape the law enforcement officer and make the law enforcement officer turn. Like she does like it's like all synchronized out. Like she thinks that like she's like toying with me, like ha ha, like she's ice raping all motorists. And I'm like, so I've never ever had the opportunity to get in front of a cop car. So anyway, so I was on my way to work, and there was a Tulsa police cop, an actual, not an unmarked car, an actual Tulsa police. And so I'm like, here's my opportunity. Let me get in front of this cop. I was like, all like, okay. And I need to make sure I have like clearance to get in front of him, right? So I'm like checking behind me. I'm like, okay, I got clearance. I'm in the right lane and they're in the left lane. And I'm like, okay, I got clearance. And I'm like, whoop. And then I like go right into the left lane, and then I get in front of them, and then I slow down a little bit to make sure that the cop is aware I'm trying to get your attention. And so I slow down, and then I slow down enough to where they're right behind me. So they've got time to read my plates, which is what they were doing. Cause they're like, what is this person doing? Like I know the cop knows that I was signaling to them. So they're reading my plates, and what else do they see? They see my website. So they stay there, and 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 they stay there. And I'm sitting there going, okay, you have made connection, Christina. They're reading your plates. They have your website. And you can tell they have no idea who you are, because it wasn't like an instant turn off or turn away. They were actually doing their job. So you can tell, number one, that they're unaware. And number two, you can tell that they were doing their job. And so I know they have my website, and I know that they have my plate. So they're like running me, and then I go forward, and then, pick up a little bit of pace, and then they scale back, and then they go off and turn off. So that was good news for me. I was like, I got to work. I was so happy. I was so freaking happy. I was like, oh my God. And yesterday all day while I was at work, I'm like, I wonder what's going on at Tulsa Police today. They're probably going, oh my God. And still today, I'm like, they're probably going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So hopefully, they are in touch with people who aren't posing as FBI agents and are making a strict, not, you know what I'm saying? Like making a connection to Washington, D.C., because this is terrorism. Jean Roberts is a terrorist. She poses as an FBI agent. She poses as a cop. She's got all kinds of people doing dirty crap for her, dirty deeds done dirt cheap. They're all extensions of her Charles Manson occult. She's got people that she's tricked them into thinking that they're deputized, and she's got fraud con. I mean, it's a big, gigantic con. And they're all basically just paid stalkers. They're stalking. They do not want me making reports against Jean Roberts at all. So anyway, but like I said, this woman has been stalking me all of my life. She is a leader of an occult. She is diabolical, and I'm going to continue to make reports against her. And I'm glad that I got through to actual law enforcement. So anyway, okay, so I want to go over a couple of crimes here. So massacre at Nigerian market leaves more than 30 dead. Gunmen torch stalls, kidnap others. So I knew instantly when I saw this Jean Roberts and her Manson occult committed this crime. Now here's what she did here. she's pretending to be African American. I can tell by everything that's going on and everything that's transpiring. She's pretending to be African American, okay, or she's pretending to be African, and she's acting like she's like a large, prominent black figure in Africa or in America, and she's giving a warning message to people in Nigeria is what she's doing. And so she's going with her usual antic shtick of, you have to look up the word, old, you have to look up the etymology on the word old. She uses old maid is what she's using there. The game Old Maid. And then you can tell by DAGI, see how it says aged in there? So she's using Old Maid. So if you look up the etymology, and I already looked up the word, old, I already decoded old and how she's used that in all kinds of crimes that she's committed. So she's pretending to send an urgent message, and she's saying, she's saying Christina is alternative something. You have to look at how she twists the word around. And I'm like, you're a lying piece of white supremacist sack crap. And if you think that people can't see through your crap, Jean, for you to run around and use AI to confuse, lie, and assault people and racket people is insane. But anyway, so she's using Old Maid in there, and then ETY, and then she's also making a reference to AJ Bayless, my stepdad's grocery store he worked in when I was a kid. So even when I was decoding it in my brain, like I was decoding it, writing down in my notes, in my brain, coming in on the left ear signal, she likes to talk. She likes to do this piercing thing through the top of my skull. It hurts like hell. And then she talks like in my ear. She goes, "Thank you." And I'm like, oh my God, I cannot take this. Somebody please arrest these stupid bitches. Anyway, stupid and deadly. Okay, so then the next one is employee crushed to death in horror industrial accident after press machine unexpectedly turns on. The incident unfolded around 9:45 a.m. on Monday when authorities were called to Ford's Sharonville plant on East Sharon Road. So you can tell, obviously, with Sharon Tate. And then, with Ford's, and then she's making another excuse. She's blaming the Marines again. What she's saying is Ford's Theater is what she's saying. And she's making a reference to Abraham Lincoln. And what she's saying is she's blaming the United States, and it's all an act, and it's just a guise. It's just a get up. And No, Gene Roberts, you are the one committing these crimes with your Manson occult. So anyway, I'm going to end this recording, and then I have to do another one. So I'm going to end this one.